for example number 7, we're going to take everything that we've done up to this point and put it all together. So, example number 7, they give us the function f of x is equal to 2x to the 4th minus 7x cubed minus 8x plus 14x plus 8. Okay? And we know what the upper and lower boundaries are because this is the same from the same polynomial from example number 6. So the zeros live in -2 comma 5. Okay. And so since the zeros live in that realm, what we want to do is we want to explain why. Where did we come up with these numbers? Where did they come from? Did they just appear out of magic? No. How do I find the zeros for this? Well, I gotta look at two things. I gotta look at the leading coefficient, right? And then I've also got to look at the constant. So now, if I take the factors of the constant, which is 8, okay, which would be plus or minus 1, comma, plus or minus 2, comma, plus or minus 4, comma, plus or minus 8. And we're going to put those over the factors of 2. Which is just plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 2. Any combination of those could be a possible solution. Okay? So what are the combination of those? Well, I could have plus or minus 1, comma, plus or minus 2, right? That's any one of these divided by 1. Then I could have plus or minus 4, plus or minus 8. And then we have some fractions. So if I take 1 divided by 2, I've got plus or minus 1/2. If I take 2 divided by 2, well, that's 1. If I take 4 divided by 2, that's 2. If I take 8 divided by 2, then that's 4. So we know, because we did this -2, -5, that it has to live between -2 and -5. And we know that it's not -2 and we know that it's not +5 when we do our synthetic division because those had remainders.
I don't have my phone out.
So pick a number that you guys want to try. We're going to do synthetic division. Pick a number, any number.
8.
4? Sounds good. So then what I want to do is I'm going to say x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared, x to the 0, write down the coefficients, 2, -7, -8, 14, and then 8. Plug away. Drop my 2. 2 times 4 is 8. That becomes a +1. 4 times 1 is 4. That becomes a -4. 4 times -4 is -16. Drop that down, that becomes a -2. 4 times -2 is -8. You have a remainder of 0. So that says that x minus 4 is a factor of this polynomial. Okay? So I'm going to grab a separate sheet of paper here and we're going to start factoring this. We're going to say f of x is equal to 2x to the 4th minus 7x to the 3rd minus 8x plus 14x plus 8. And it has x minus 4 as one of the variables, or as one of the factors. So what we're hoping to do, there should be 4 sets of these, right? If it's done right, because it's a 4th degree polynomial. So now this leaves me with 2x cubed, 1x squared minus 4x minus 2. Okay? So now I'm going to try another one that I think might be a remainder. So I'm going to plug in -1/2. But now I'm going to use this next term. So I'm going to say 2, 1, -4, negative 2. Now the reason I'm doing that is I've established that f of x is equal to x minus 4 times the quantity 2x cubed minus plus x squared minus 4x minus 2. So I've divided this by this and got this. So now I'm going to try and start divvying this up. I'm going to divide this by another polynomial. And so I chose minus 1/2 just to see if that would work or not. So do synthetic division. I drop the 2, 1/2, negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. Drop that down. I get negative 1 times 0, which is 0. Drop the negative 4 down. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/4 is a wait, somehow I screwed up there. Oh yeah, it's a positive 2. Okay, I didn't screw up. So that means that this is x squared plus 0x minus 4. So now what I've done is I figured out that this is x plus 1/2. And then these last two things are factors. These last two things are factors of this quadratic. Okay? Now this is where it gets a little tricky. To find these two, in other words, what I'm saying, and I'm going to come back to this, I'm saying f of x is equal to x minus 4 times x plus 1/2 times 2x squared minus 4. So I've just got to factor this and I'll get these two things. Alright, well that one's not so easy. This list of numbers here, these are the rational solutions. Okay? Those are the rational solutions. So I know that it's between 3 and 5, and I've picked it's between negative 2 and 5, because that's what the textbook told me. I know that it can't be 2. In other words, what I'm looking at are these numbers and comparing them to this. 1 won't work if I did synthetic division. In fact, this is a factorable thing. So I've exhausted all the rational numbers, which means I have irrational numbers left, so I should expect some sort of square root, right? Remember, the irrational numbers are things like the square root of 2, the square root of 3, pi, e, something silly like that. So this has to be a 0. So this one I have to address differently. So to address that one differently, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 2x squared minus 4 equals 0. Alright. Well, that means that 2x is equal to 4. Which means x squared is equal to 2. Which means x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2. Does that make sense? So this becomes x minus the square root of 2 and x plus the square root of 2. Those are all my solutions. Now, that was a lot of work for one problem. Mr. Adams wants to do well on his ACT. How might Mr. Adams go about checking? How do I verify this before I select my answer? Anybody have an idea? We said that these are the zeros. So how do I verify that? Well, I could either multiply this back out, and I should get this top line, but what's a quicker way? How about I graph it? So if I go and turn my calculator on, and I change my equation to 2x raised to the 4th minus 7x raised to the third minus 8. Oh, that's supposed to be x squared. You guys, you gotta catch that and tell Mr. Adams. X squared plus 14x plus 8. Now, remember that the solution is this set equal to 0, so when I say x minus 4, what do I enter in the calculator? In other words, where does it cross the x-axis? It should cross it at 4, because if you take x minus 4 and set it equal to 0, in other words, what we're saying here is that x is equal to 4, x is equal to negative 1/2, x is equal to positive square root of 2, and x is equal to negative square root of 2. So to verify on my calculator, I'm just going to hit trace, plug in 4, check and see if it works. Y equals 0. Negative 1 divided by 2, check to see if it works. Whoops, I got to put a 2, not a 5. Y equals 0. If I enter in the square root of 2, now this one might be a decimal because your calculator doesn't do so well, but it'll be pretty close to 0. Nope, y equals 0. And then if I say negative square root of 2, what do you think y will equal? 0. That's it.